American English, American English. Teach and learn American English.
Welcome to Teaching Tips from American English. In this teaching tip topic, Jeff Kuhn will examine 4 tools to consider when setting up a digital learning classroom and some examples of digital learning platforms that you can use in your English language classroom. Welcome, Jeff.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Kuhn, and welcome. Today, we will investigate several tools that you can use to set up your digital learning classroom. So let's get started. Here are today's goals. In this video, I'll show you 1, 4 tools to consider when setting up a digital learning classroom. 2, some specific platforms I use in my own digital learning classroom. The best place to start when talking about digital tools is with some of the terms we might hear when discussing these tools. Our traditional classrooms where we teach with a book and chalkboard are referred to as face-to-face classrooms. On the other end of the scale is online learning. In a pure online learning context, the students learn without direct interaction with the teacher. MOOCs are a great example of this type of class. However, between these two approaches is blended learning. A blended classroom is a mix of face-to-face and online teaching. A blended learning approach is optimal in creating a dynamic digital learning classroom. So, how can we establish a digital learning classroom? I will now discuss 4 components that can help you set up your own digital learning classroom. When thinking about tools for establishing a digital learning classroom, the best place to start is with a platform. What is a platform? Think about it as your classroom on the internet. Some popular online platforms are Moodle, Canvas, Schoology. I have even seen teachers teach classes completely in WhatsApp. These online platforms are a great way to keep students organized, but can also be used between teachers. You may want to set up a page that only you and other teachers can access so you can share technology materials quickly and easily. If your school doesn't have an online platform such as Moodle, Padlet can be a great option for getting started with hosting teaching materials online. Padlet is an online bulletin board. You start with an empty page that you can fill with links. For example, what you see here is my Padlet page of technology tools for the classroom. Students have the link to this page and can access the material at any time, day or night. When you start, your Padlet page is blank. You and your students can fill it with useful materials. By clicking on the plus button at the bottom right, you can add text boxes to the page. These text boxes can hold text, documents, or links to websites. Once you have posted a box, students can then click on the box and access the materials. Our next tool is a question and answer software. These tools all use what is called a second screen approach. What this means is that the teacher has a main screen where questions will be asked. However, students will answer the questions on their own screen, on a computer, tablet, or smartphone. Question and answer software can be a great blended learning tool for engaging large classes. They allow us to get answers from many students at once instead of calling on a specific student one at a time. They can also be great for engaging shy students by allowing them to pose questions outside of class. Then, during the next class, their questions can be addressed. Poll Everywhere is my preferred question and answer software because you can use it without having to sign up. In Poll Everywhere, you can ask a question and the students' answers are displayed. As students answer the question, the screen updates in real time. On this screen, you can see the student's second screen. So when your question is displayed on your teacher screen, students can type their answers on their second screen. When you want students to answer your question, they can visit the URL at the top of the screen. In this example, pollev.com/jk341 is my personal URL. Yours will be different. Another benefit of digital learning approaches is that technology tools can help us combine different classroom activities. By using presentation software, we can give a lecture and a quiz at the same time. These updated presentation software tools are great for keeping students engaged as the lectures become more interactive. They can also provide real-time information on how students are doing with new material. With a digital learning approach that uses a more participation-driven technology, students do more than just listen, but interact with me during my lectures. An example of great presentation software that I like to use is called Nearpod. Nearpod takes the old technology of PowerPoint and adds more interactive approaches. With Nearpod, for example, we can give a lecture in class but add interactive quizzes to our presentation. In Nearpod, the teacher can make a traditional presentation just like in PowerPoint. I can add images like you see here and text as well. Again, it is just like PowerPoint. But I can also add questions for my students to answer. I can make several lecture slides in a row and then add in a question. As students answer on their screens, I get real-time updates on my teacher screen that shows me how well my students are doing. The final set of tools I want to explore today are quizzing tools. Like we just discussed with Nearpod, when I did traditional quizzes, my students would take the paper-based quiz and then 1 or 2 days later see their results. However, with new web-based quizzing tools, students can take the quiz and get immediate feedback. This helps me understand where they're having difficulties. With this quizzing software, I can get students more engaged in class by asking them questions throughout my lecture or presentation. The quizzing software that my students and I really enjoy is Kahoot. Kahoot works by setting up a quiz and then inviting students to take the quiz. Each time you start the quiz, it creates a game pin. Students access your quiz by entering this code on the Kahoot website. Students visit the kahoot.it website and enter the game pin into the website and then are able to join your quiz. After students enter the game pin, they can give their name. You can require students to use their real name, or they can use a nickname. I encourage everyone to take the time to explore these tools at your own pace. They all have easy to follow tutorials on their websites that make learning to use them easy. Summing up, today I showed you what I think are the 4 essential tools for setting up a digital learning classroom and some specific platforms I use in my own digital learning classroom. Thanks for joining me. I think each of these tools add features that can help us better connect with our students and create a more engaging and motivating classroom. For more great ideas, check out the other teaching tips on the American English YouTube channel.
To check out other great teaching tip videos, be sure to subscribe to our American English YouTube channel. You can find resources for teachers on the American English website by clicking on the link listed here. And if you haven't already, be sure to like us on the American English for Educators Facebook page.